If you want to live a better life, you need to start by accepting a truth that most people spend their entire existence avoiding. The life you're living right now is the result of the choices you've made, the habits you've built, the thoughts you've entertained, and the actions you've taken or failed to take up until this very moment. This isn't about blame or shame or making you feel guilty about where you are. This is about power. Because if your choices created your current reality, that means different choices can create a different reality. If your habits produced your current results, new habits can produce new results. If your thinking led you here, new thinking can lead you somewhere else. The moment you stop blaming external circumstances, other people, bad luck, your past, or anything else outside of yourself, and instead take complete ownership of where you are, that's the moment you reclaim the power to change everything. Most people never take this step. They spend years, sometimes entire lifetimes, convincing themselves that their life is the way it is because of factors beyond their control. And this victim mentality guarantees that nothing will ever change, because if you're not responsible for your problems, you're also not capable of solving them. But you're different. You're reading this because somewhere inside you knows that you're capable of more, that the life you're living doesn't have to be the life you keep living, that better is possible if you're willing to do what it takes to get there. So let's be very clear about what living a better life actually requires, because it's not going to happen by accident. It's not going to happen by hoping things magically improve, and it's definitely not going to happen by doing the same things you've been doing and expecting different results. If you want to live a better life, you need to start with your mind, because everything external begins internal. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life. If your mind is filled with negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, fear-based narratives, and constant worry about things you cannot control, your life will reflect that internal chaos. You cannot think broke and live rich. You cannot think sick and live healthy. You cannot think limited and live expansive. Your external world is always a reflection of your internal world. So the first change that needs to happen is between your ears. You need to become aware of what you're thinking throughout the day. Most people have no idea what thoughts are running through their minds. They're on autopilot, replaying the same mental loops they've been running for years, recycling the same fears and doubts and complaints, and wondering why their life feels stuck. Start paying attention. What are you telling yourself about yourself? What are you telling yourself about what's possible? What story are you running about why you can't have what you want? These thoughts are not truth. They're just thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. When you catch yourself thinking something that's limiting or negative or fear-based, stop and ask yourself, is this thought helping me create the life I want, or is it keeping me stuck in the life I have? If it's not serving you, consciously choose a different thought. This isn't about positive thinking or pretending problems don't exist. This is about refusing to let your mind run wild with thoughts that drain your energy and kill your motivation. You need to take control of your thinking, direct it intentionally toward what you want to create, and stop indulging mental patterns that keep you trapped. If you want to live a better life, you need to get absolutely clear on what better actually means for you, not what society says it should mean, not what your parents think it should mean, not what looks impressive on social media, but what genuinely matters to you. Most people are chasing a version of success that someone else defined, climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall, achieving things that don't actually make them happy because they never stop to figure out what they really want. You need to get quiet with yourself and ask some hard questions. What does a better life look like to me specifically? What would make me feel fulfilled? What do I want to experience? What do I want to contribute? What kind of person do I want to become? What relationships do I want to have? How do I want to spend my time? What lights me up and makes me feel alive? These questions require real reflection, not surface level answers. And once you get clear on what you actually want, you need to write it down. Make it concrete. Make it specific. Make it vivid. because you cannot hit a target you cannot see. Your brain needs a clear destination to move toward, and without that clarity, you'll just drift wherever the current takes you, which is usually nowhere you actually want to be. Clarity is power. Clarity allows you to make decisions that align with your vision instead of decisions based on other people's expectations or short-term comfort or fear. When you know exactly what you're building, every choice becomes simpler because you can ask, does this move me toward the life I want or away from it? If you want to live a better life, you need to stop waiting for permission, for the right time, for perfect conditions, for someone to believe in you, for fear to disappear, for more money or more knowledge or more confidence. You need to start now with what you have from where you are. This is not negotiable. Every single day you wait is a day you'll never get back. Every week you spend preparing to start, instead of actually starting, is a week of your life that produced no progress. Every month you tell yourself, I'll do it when, is a month closer to looking back with regret at all the time you wasted. The right time is now. The perfect conditions will never exist. You will never feel completely ready. Confidence comes from doing, not from waiting to feel confident before you do. So whatever it is that you know you need to do to create a better life, whether it's starting that business, having that difficult conversation, changing your career, ending that toxic relationship, committing to your health, learning that new skill, whatever it is, you need to take the first step today. Not a perfect step, not a big step necessarily, just a step. Movement creates momentum. Momentum creates progress. Progress creates confidence. Confidence creates bigger action. But it all starts with breaking the inertia of inaction and doing something, anything, that moves you in the direction of the life you want. If you want to live a better life, you need to become extremely intentional about your habits, because your habits are the invisible architecture of your life. What you do consistently, day after day, determines who you become and what you achieve. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems and habits. If you have the habit of hitting snooze and starting your day rushed and reactive, that's the life you'll live. If you have the habit of consuming junk food and avoiding exercise, that's the body you'll have. If you have the habit of scrolling social media for hours instead of working on meaningful goals, that's the future you'll create. Your habits are either compounding in your favor or against you. And the scary thing is that the impact of habits is not immediately visible. One unhealthy meal won't destroy your health. One skipped workout won't make you out of shape. One wasted day won't ruin your life. But it's the accumulation of these choices over weeks and months and years that creates your destiny. So you need to audit your current habits honestly. What are you doing every single day? What are the patterns and routines that make up your life? And then you need to ask, are these habits creating the future I want or destroying it? Identify the keystone habits, the ones that if changed would create a positive ripple effect in other areas of your life. For most people, this is things like a morning routine, regular exercise, consistent sleep schedule, daily learning time, intentional nutrition. Start with one habit. Make it small enough that you can't fail. Do it every single day for 30 days until it becomes automatic. Then add another. Slowly, systematically, you rebuild your entire life one habit at a time. If you want to live a better life, you need to surround yourself with people who support that vision, who challenge you to grow, who believe in your potential, who are on their own journey of improvement. Your environment is stronger than your willpower. The people you spend the most time with will either elevate you or drag you down. Their attitudes become your attitudes. Their habits influence your habits. Their belief in what's possible shapes your belief in what's possible. If you're surrounded by people who complain constantly, who make excuses, who settle for mediocrity, who tear down anyone trying to improve, it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to create a better life because you're swimming against the current of your environment. you need to make hard decisions about who gets access to your time and energy. This doesn't mean you abandon everyone, but it does mean you become very selective about your inner circle. Seek out people who are where you want to be, who have achieved what you want to achieve, who think bigger than you currently think. Learn from them. Study their mindset and strategies. Let their example expand your sense of what's possible. Join communities of growth-oriented people. Find accountability partners who will call you out when you're making excuses and celebrate with you when you win. The quality of your relationships will determine the quality of your life, so treat this decision with the seriousness it deserves. If you want to live a better life, you need to become comfortable being uncomfortable, because everything you want is on the other side of comfort. Growth doesn't happen in your comfort zone. Change doesn't happen when you keep doing what's familiar. Better doesn't come from staying where you are. You have to be willing to do things that scare you, that challenge you, that push you beyond what you currently believe you're capable of. This is not optional. If you only do what's comfortable, you will never expand beyond your current limitations. You need to seek out discomfort intentionally. Have the conversations you've been avoiding. Take the risks you've been too scared to take. Try the things you've convinced yourself you can't do. Every time you move through fear instead of being stopped by it, you grow. Every time you choose courage over comfort, you become stronger. Every time you do something hard, you prove to yourself that you're capable of more than you thought. This builds confidence and momentum that carries over into every area of your life. Stop avoiding hard things. Stop choosing the easy path. Stop letting fear make your decisions. The discomfort is temporary, but the regret of never trying lasts forever. If you want to live a better life, you need to stop consuming so much and start creating more. Most people spend the majority of their time passively consuming content, entertainment, news, other people's opinions, other people's lives on social media, and they wonder why they feel empty and unfulfilled. Consumption is easy. It requires nothing from you. It fills time but creates nothing of value. Creation is what gives life meaning. When you create something, whether it's a business, art, a solution to a problem, value for others, you tap into a different part of yourself. You become a contributor instead of just a consumer. You build instead of just taking. You add to the world instead of just extracting from it. And this shift from consumption to creation changes everything about how you feel. You gain a sense of purpose and agency. You develop skills and confidence. You create opportunities that didn't exist before. So look at how you're spending your time. How many hours a day are you consuming versus creating? What would happen if you flipped that ratio? What if instead of watching TV for 3 hours, you spent that time building something that matters to you? What if instead of scrolling for 2 hours, you use that time to learn a valuable skill? The better life you want won't come from consuming more. It will come from creating more. If you want to live a better life, you need to take care of your body, because you cannot build the life you want in a body that's broken down, exhausted, and sick. Your physical health affects everything. Your energy levels, your mental clarity, your emotional state, your confidence, your longevity. You cannot feel great and perform at a high level if you're feeding your body garbage and never moving it. This isn't complicated. You know what you need to do. Eat real food that nourishes you instead of processed junk that slowly poisons you. Move your body every single day in some form of exercise that challenges you. Sleep 7 to 9 hours consistently, because sleep is when your body repairs and your brain consolidates learning. Drink water. Manage stress through meditation. Time in nature. Activities that restore you. These are not luxuries or things you'll get to when you have time. These are foundational requirements for living well. If you want energy to pursue your goals, take care of your body. If you want mental clarity to make good decisions, take care of your body. If you want to live long enough to enjoy the success you're building, take care of your body. Stop treating it like a rental car you plan to return damaged, and start treating it like the only vehicle you have for your entire journey through life. If you want to live a better life, you need to learn continuously because the world is changing rapidly, and if you stop learning, you become obsolete. The skills that got you here won't get you where you want to go. The knowledge you have now is not sufficient for the future you're trying to create. You need to become a perpetual student, someone who is always growing, always expanding, always acquiring new capabilities. Read books every single day. Listen to educational podcasts and audiobooks. Take courses from experts in areas you need to develop. Study the strategies of people who have achieved what you want to achieve. Seek mentors who can accelerate your learning. The investment you make in your own education and development is the investment with the highest return, because it's the one thing nobody can take from you. Your knowledge, your skills, your ability to think critically and solve problems, these assets compound over time and open doors that were previously closed. People who stop learning stop growing, and people who stop growing start dying even if they're still breathing. Commit to being a lifelong learner and watch how it transforms not just your career or your income, but your entire experience of life. If you want to live a better life, you need to practice gratitude for what you already have while simultaneously working toward what you want. This might sound contradictory, but it's actually essential. If you're only focused on what you don't have, what's missing, what's wrong, you create a mental state of lack and dissatisfaction that makes you miserable, no matter what you achieve. But if you take time every day to acknowledge what's already good in your life, what's working, what you've already accomplished, what you have to be thankful for, you create a foundation of contentment and abundance that makes the journey toward better actually enjoyable instead of constantly postponing happiness until some future achievement. Gratitude doesn't mean settling or stopping your pursuit of growth. It means recognizing that you can appreciate where you are while working toward where you want to be. Start or end each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. Train your brain to look for the good instead of only focusing on what's wrong. This simple practice will shift your entire emotional state and make you more resilient, more optimistic, and more energized to keep pushing forward. If you want to live a better life, you need to understand that it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be quick, and there will be moments when you want to quit, when you doubt whether it's worth it, when you wonder if you should just settle for what you have. In those moments, you need to remember why you started. You need to reconnect with the vision of the life you're building. You need to recall that the discomfort of change is temporary, but the pain of regret is permanent. Living a better life requires sustained effort over time. It requires you to keep going when results aren't immediately visible. It requires you to trust the process when you can't yet see the progress. It requires you to believe in yourself when circumstances give you every reason to doubt. This is the test. This is what separates people who transform their lives from people who just talk about it. When it gets hard, and it will get hard, you don't quit. You don't give up. You don't go back to the comfortable life that was slowly killing your potential. You keep going. You adjust your approach if needed. You learn from setbacks. You celebrate small wins. You rest when necessary, but you never stop moving forward. Because on the other side of all that sustained effort, all that discipline, all that commitment to becoming better, is a life that most people only dream about. A life where you wake up excited about your day. A life where you're proud of who you're becoming. A life where you're making a meaningful contribution. A life where you're financially secure and physically healthy and emotionally fulfilled. A life where you're living in alignment with your values and your purpose. That life is possible for you. It's waiting for you. But it will only become your reality if you decide right now that you're done settling, done making excuses, done waiting for perfect conditions, and you're ready to do whatever it takes to create the better life you know you deserve. The choice is yours. The power is yours. The time is now. If you want to live a better life, stop wanting and start doing. Everything changes when you do.